Hello, I am here right now and I'm going to give my thoughts on how to properly balance each of the unit types and to make them a lot more fun and not have one overpowered and stuff and make them good across the board. So, starting off with basics, a main issue is the early basic possession. Warlord is a main example of this where you can dominate the beginning of the game. You can cancel that, which should be fixed, I think, considering how strong it is. Either do that or nerf the perk. Too grossed out to dodge and too grossed out to sprint. So, either one of those two things. Main thing that I would say is the buffs that happened recently that made them have lower stuns and everything and more health isn't awful inherently in design. I would say that Warlord is a class that should be more dependent on its basics, especially with the elites. I think even if they made the elites good in ideas I would suggest, people would still rather use the basics, and pretty understandable why. You would be able to diss out some great early pressure. Even if it was nerfed, you would still be able to do a lot of pressure and stuff like that. And even still, you can use your bad influence, turn it into Henrietta, and still your basics are going to be buffed by that. You're never going to be using your elites on this, and I guarantee you, even if they did buff the elites, they would still not really be using them. Going on to the elites, though, into Warlord, I feel like an idea I really think that they have is the charge attack, the one where they sprint and they'll jump in the air and they'll ground pound. I think that should be nerfed, or not nerfed. I think it should be changed. I think that I like the idea of you spraying doing the charge. I really enjoy that. I think maybe do a similar thing with the skeleton and maybe have you locked in for a second or something. Just an idea. It doesn't have to be there. It's just cool, I guess. But something that definitely should be is his sucker punch ability, the one where he just swings. I think that should have a charge ability or a very time thing. So if you were to hold it down, the button activate for it, either when you hold it down, it will take longer to hit charge up and swing. It will do the same amount of damage, but it's meant therefore to catch you on a dodge. And this would have a movement rating for that. When you fully charge it, it would have a movement rating thing on it because dodges already have iframes. So if you dodge the charged one, you're fine. But then you could also quickly release it, in which it'll have normal speed, so it would become more of a guessing game for survivors to do rather than you just sitting there and going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you already have the hunters that can end up dodging 6 times currently. I think it's 5 times, and it's still ridiculous. I mean, it would help. It would make them better, but don't need it. Moving on to Henrietta, I wouldn't really suggest a full change to Henrietta, really. The only thing I'd like to see different is the belly flop. I don't ever see the belly flop used. And in the same light, it's also weird on the hit things. I think they need to make the animations a lot smoother, because it's weird that the person will be right here and I swing and I'm right here and there's all this area here and I'll still hit you. It's so weird. But belly flop wise, I can't really give a change suggestion off that. It's meant for crowd control. It's not a great move. I don't know. It's alright. I consider Warlord a very basic dependent. You should be playing around your basics a lot more than you should be playing around the boss, in my personal opinion. Moving on to Puppeteer, my personal favorite class of the three. I think Puppeteer's basics. I think the high speed, low damage is alright. You're able to do like a 5-hit combo without dodge cancels or anything, which is pretty good. The only thing I think that would be really nice is if they made the ability where when you rip your head off and you throw it. I wish that they made that a lot more usable, because currently the only way you can use it, and it's good, it's you rip your head off and you aim at the ground and you throw it, and doing that will like knock out half the health of a survivor. It's like a lot of damage and it's ridiculous. And I think that move should maybe be tweaked. Maybe give more fear on hit, or something on the level of, yeah, to make it a lot more usable, because unless you're doing that, which is very gimmicky to do, you're never using that move in a normal fight. You're always using light, heavy and stuff, and you're always doing that, and your explosion move it's alright, I guess. Moving on to Demi-Eligos, the main reason I thought of making this video. I think the Demi-Eligos has, the Puppeteer should be an elite boss-based class. I think that it's really good that Warlord would be basics in boss. The Puppeteer would be elite in boss, and then like Necro would be all around. And I love it because you have Insane Clown Posse, you have your Rocksteadies, Health Razor, Canarian Fury, and all that, which really would help out with this. So, what would I suggest? Much like the Elite Deadite, I would suggest the Thunderstruck ability to have a charge shot, where you can either charge it up and it'll shock down, or you can just immediately release it and it'll be a normal speed. It'll be a or you go and it would have a tracking thing on it. And originally when thinking it, I was thinking, oh, maybe give it the ability to have it undodgeable. But then I thought about it, and you could end up cheesing it really heavily, especially with the fact that they're immune to gun damage. So what would I say? So I like the idea more of you being able to charge it up and catch people who dodge, but if they don't dodge in time, you can strike down and it becomes like a 50-50, less than a reaction thing, I would say. And I'd also suggest it to be like a window where it's not reactable for them. Moving on to Eligos themselves. They need to fix Summoning Stones horribly right now. Summoning Stones is a move that nobody uses. It's probably the most useless move among all of them. And he casts the stones and he throws them and it does a ton of damage. It's like 200 or something. And it's a lot of damage. The issue is it's which gives you like all the time in the world to dodge. And it becomes it's a very obsolete move compared to his, it's like Storm Call or something, where he shocks around him. And that thing just does a flat 200 damage, the same as Summoning Stones, and it's like instant. And his heavy is a CC as well. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. I would suggest mainly for this class, for Eligos, especially. So, something that I think would be especially cool to do when it comes to all this is I think Puppeteer should probably have a gimmick. I like the idea of power possess and all that. I think it should maybe have another gimmick to it, because Necro has the gimmick of where it gains the fear on attacks, and it has all the normal buffs and stuff. Also gains fear on attacks, and Warlord has it where they don't take balance bar damage on bad influence. And I think that maybe a really good thing for them to do is maybe more fear, or maybe fear on hits. And it doesn't have to be a crazy amount, but enough where you are actually going to notice possessing survivors and getting in that realm. And I think there's a perk for it, but it'd just be really cool to have like base for power possess, that you could do another gimmick like what could you do? Speedballing off the top of my mind, you could do, maybe you can't activate your abilities or something crazy like that, like you power possess a survivor, they can't use their abilities for a set amount of time afterwards or something. Just spitball idea. I think that they should go more gimmicky, and I love Puppeteer, and it should be more of a gimmick. It should have a gimmick like the other ones. We're going to Necromancer. Necromancer is super confusing, because if I think that the basics need faster attack speed. I think that, especially with when they go and do this, that third attack, you can run. You can dodge twice and run, which on leaders especially works. Supports, I know, and I mainly play support Ash, and I'm able to do that. And I would say that maybe increase the speed or make it more varying or something. They also, I don't know if the bug's been fixed, but whenever you activate the ability where he slams it down, it's bugged where it has like, I think 4 different damage numbers. So if you do a heavy and then you go into it, you'll end up getting the most damage. It's ridiculous and it's weird. And they also got to fix the other bugs in this class, like resurrecting after death and it's still persisting after, or the Floridas being able to be put into unreachable locations and stuff. That stuff needs to be fixed really badly. But I would say Necromancer, as of currently, is probably in one of the better states overall. The only thing I would say is maybe buff the elites and make them a little more threatening, and great. I mean, they made the dismemberment chance lower. I still think it's kind of weird that I'll play like Amanda and I'm able to like one-shot the elite without issues. I think I should, like Hunters at least, should be able to like 2-shot an elite at most, and the boss like 4-shot or something. I don't think you should be able to one-shot elites and like 2-shot bosses. It's crazy. Anyways, those are ideas that I have off the top of my head. Evil Ash, I think, is pretty good currently. He's not exactly busted. All he has is that bug currently going on, but that should be fixed relatively soon anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna go through here and I'm going to get off.